Welcome everybody to the Hip Hop Legacy Podcast brought to you by 249 Productions. I'm your host GK, and on today's episode we have a rapper. His name is Lyrical Eye. He opened up for acts like Rida and Lil Jon. He performed at big festivals around the world, including SXSW, Hop Kemp in Czech Republic, Popkomm Festival in Germany, EU Music Days in Sweden, and many more. He was the International Songwriting Competition finalist in 2006, the winner of the Great American Song Contest Award 2006-07, International Songwriting Competition finalist in 2007, UK Songwriting Competition runner-up in 2008. Also in 2008, he was the Breaking the Bank finalist, the winner of the Song of the Year contest in the hip-hop category in 2010. He's been featured on major stations around the world, including BBC One Extra, Choice FM, Planet Radio, Virgin Radio, Mix FM, with the hit single It's Official, featuring Sway and the US R&B sensation Casely. Previously chosen by Akon as a featured artist on his websites Hitlab and Top Promoter, as well as Akon's showcase on Virgin Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, Lyrical Eye.
Thank you for that introduction, man. Good to
Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. How you doing, bro? How's everything?
I'm great. It's really good to be here and to see you after many years, to be honest, and to finally catch up.
Good. We know each other for many years, but we never had the chance to actually sit down and talk about hip hop, and I think this is a great opportunity. What would you like to share about yourself so everyone would get to know each other?
All right, so my name is Stefan Eliadis. Started in the music scene around, hard to say now, but probably 20 years or so. Actually, it started much before that, when I was very young. And I always had a passion for music, and even writing stuff around the house. When I was a kid, I remember like running around the house and just making music, and I guess it was part of my DNA. And obviously hip hop came a bit later, when I think my cousin first introduced me to it, when he brought I don't know, remember if it was Tupac or Wu-Tang CD to me, a single. And that was my first introduction to music.
What about the name Lyrical Eye? How did you come with that name?
So basically, lyrical stands for the lyrical part of the music, because I always had a big passion for writing lyrics, and I think it's a big element of the music. Obviously, the production is important and the whole music, but for me, the lyrics came first. Mm-hmm. And then because I was inspired by books that I was reading at the time when I was young, in relation to like Third Eye and spiritual things, mm-hmm. Against the New World Order, and I was inspired by this basically. So I came up with Lyrical Eye. I tried to put that into my music.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us. And also put your comments down below, help us get better. And also, who would you like to see on our next episodes? Now, like I said earlier, we've known each other for quite some time now, but we never had the opportunity to sit down and talk about hip hop. And this is a great opportunity for us. And what I would like to know, when was the first time you fell in love? What did you hear, a song, or you saw someone performing and got you into hip hop?
It's hard to remember that exact moment, but the first inspiration was definitely, I think, as I mentioned earlier, like my cousin's influence, when he made me hear like the first album or like the first few songs. I think it was Tupac and even Biggie at the time. And Wu-Tang had one of the first singles back in was probably around 96 time. Mm-hmm. So those were the first the first songs that really I'm like, wow, this is cool.
96, 97, it must have been Wu-Tang Forever, their second album.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was even a little bit before that, to be honest.
If it was before that, it was their first album, 36 Chamber, I think.
Yeah, it was
with Protect Your Neck.
It was the 36 Chambers, and I remember the song Wu-Tang. Can we swear on the show?
Yeah,
we can swear openly.
Yeah, go ahead.
The song was like Wu-Tang, motherfuckers. Woo motherfuckers, the Wu-Tang motherfuckers. It was one lady singing in the chorus.
Ah, it's the one with the violin sound.
I think so.
It was Wu-Tang Forever. It was their second
It was
album.
the second album.
After their first album,
Yeah.
what Rida did, which Rida is
The mastermind.
the mastermind behind Wu-Tang. What he basically did before that,
Yeah.
their first album, what they did actually, he used a lot of sampling.
Yeah.
So and he had such a creative mind.
Wow.
That his second album, their second album, he wanted to use live instruments.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw a documentary. I also saw a series about Wu-Tang, and he actually brought like people that they knew how to play like proper
The instruments.
orchestra. Yeah. You have like an opera orchestra.
Yeah.
At their house, and they were like playing music all the time.
Yeah.
There was someone playing the piano, someone playing the violin.
It's incredible.
And he was taking parts and he was like using it to make the beats. And he made that song as well.
And he made the soundtrack for some of Kill Bill, I think, and a lot of other movies. I mean, the guy's the mastermind. But yeah, I started with that, and then of course, as the years passed, I went back to the first album, and then I juggled between the rest of the stuff. And then I started following the individual artists of Wu-Tang. There was like, of course, you had the main artists.
Ghostface, Raycon.
Yeah, you had the main artists, those guys. But I also started looking into the more underground guys, because the Wu-Tang family was like 100 people eventually. So I started really digging deep and going into the underground stuff. And yeah, I was, I fell in love, and I was really, like I said, digging deep and looking at all these underground, unknown artists at the time, and really just falling in love with the music.
Gotcha. And also, hip hop, it's a culture, and I just wanted to know what hip hop really means to you.
I mean, at the time, it was, I fell in love with it straight away. And I guess again I fell in love with the lyrical aspect of it. Of course, the productions and the whole, everything. I just really fell in love with it. But I think what I really liked about it was when I started to write. For me, it was like it was a way of releasing my stress and my pain. Like like people go to the gym and they release their stress and their tension. That's what hip hop became to me. It became a part of my life. It became a part of my everyday life. And I would sit down and write every day for hours sometimes. And I would just, write and write and write. Sometimes it would be stories. Sometimes it was like different feelings I had. And it was just a way for me to to release that. So that's what it meant for me. It was more than just music. I mean, it was part of my life. And slowly it became like, we started to dress like that. And back then you had the baggy pants. And, we would walk around. I would be in Cyprus back then, and the people would look at us like we're aliens, we ended up getting in lots of arguments. And, people were like, who are these people? What you doing? And we faced some...
Why are you dressing up like this?
We faced some kind of racism or whatever you want to call it. It was interesting times. But yeah, it was the lifestyle.
And becoming an artist, a rapper, who inspired you to become a rapper? Was there someone in your life or someone that you were admiring and that got you and said, okay, I want to be that person. I want to look up to that person and say, I want to become a rapper, and I want to be not as famous as them, but you just wanted to express yourself, like you explained earlier. You wanted to express yourself, and also to release your stress and just say how you feel, express yourself. Who was your role model, let's say, when it comes to rapping, that got you into hip hop?
First, I would say the first figure who inspired me, I guess it was my cousin, again, because he was like a father figure to me growing up. We would spend a lot of time together. Like, he was like a brother to me, but even more than a brother, He was my older cousin, and he was kind of like my inspiration, or whatever you want to call it. I cannot say he was a rapper, but he was also into hip hop, and he was also writing rhymes. So I think he was my first my first introduction. And then after that, of course, I think the first artists that I listened to and really inspired me were Tupac. Tupac was the one for me.
Okay.
Yeah, Tupac was the one.
And talking about Tupac, I wanted to ask you, who is your top 5 artists and albums?
Whew.
We can add more to that, but let's start with the top 5.
Okay, so I'll definitely put Tupac in the list.
Okay.
Then I'll put Wu-Tang as a whole, as a group. Then I mean, there's a lot of it's hard, you know. I have to put Nas in that list, to be honest. So I'll put Nas in the top 3. And then it's like the rest. It's a bit of a mystery, you know. It's a bit of a mystery because there's so many artists that kind of had amazing albums and inspired me. Yeah, let's stick to the top 3, I think.
Top 3?
Let's stick to the top
what
3.
About
there's other amazing artists I can mention, you know, like
you can shout them out.
Big Pun and Fat Joe and Big L and the Terror Squad, and even some more underground artists. A lot of people might not be familiar with, but that I used to listen to, which were amazing lyricists and artists like Saigon and Papoose and Papoose like Papoose and Big L. Rakim, you know, there's a lot of legendary artists and names.
It's true.
Ghostface, if I'm gonna name like individuals from like Wu-Tang and Raekwon. But I would say if I had to choose like a top three, I would stick to Tupac, Nas, and Wu-Tang. And yeah, the Big Pun was amazing, and the Fat Joe albums and the Terror Squad albums, those were also like wow, you know, when they came out.
It was a shame that Big Pun passed away
Very
so
early.
young.
Very early.
I think it was in 2000. He was like 24, 25, young age, due to heart attack.
And what about you? Can I ask you questions?
Yeah,
as well?
of course you can ask me.
I would like to know your top 3 or top 5.
Okay. When it comes to the top 5, I have to say it's Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z,
Yeah.
Nas, and the 5th one, it's always like a little bit of
Yeah, I
argument.
didn't mention Biggie. Mention Biggie. Of course, I have to add Biggie there in the list for sure. You know, in the top, at least in the top 5, I would say. I think he deserves to be there. You know, I mean, he was amazing there. He was amazing.
But when it comes to the top 5 or the GOAT conversation, I always have an issue when it comes to that, because I think when it comes to hip hop and you have different levels.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I think you can't say like, Tupac is the GOAT.
Yeah.
Because one day you might be listening to Tupac, the next day you might be listening to Biggie,
Yeah.
and you'll be like, Biggie is the best.
And everyone has their own opinion, right?
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
It depends what you want to listen to, what you can relate to as well.
And someone might be like amazing at, let's say, the lyrical side of things, but they might not have the best productions. And there are artists like that who are in the middle.
Exactly.
But you need to find that, you know, that combination of what really, like, you know, what goes with you, let's say.
And also what the artist has to offer as well. When it comes to lyrics, when it comes to beats, flow, the way his writing skills as well. A lot of people, they don't notice this, but there is a lot of skill when it comes to writing.
Yeah.
Because everyone can say whatever they want to say. The whole point of hip hop, and it turns into poetry.
Yeah.
It's not what you can say; it's how you want to say.
True.
So that's when the skill comes in, the wordplay, how you put things together,
100%.
and there are many ways. You're a rapper. I'm pretty sure you know all of this. That you have to make sure you have to put metaphors, you have to put star lines to attract the audience to hear something that they're familiar with, so you will attract their attention as well. And
you have to have the punchlines, you have to have everything.
Exactly,
you have to have the flow, you have to, it's so many things, you know. But like, let's say you're just a listener and you're not into it. Let's say you're not into it. You know, you just, at the end of the day, you want to hear a catchy hook and you want to hear a catchy beat. You want to dance a little bit, maybe if you're in the club or on the radio, something that will stick to your mind, and that's it. But if you're on the other side, yeah, you need to work on everything.
Hmm. Have you ever went to a concert and watched someone live, and what did you like about them?
I cannot say that I went to. Actually, you know what? I went to the Hop Kemp to perform in Czech Republic. I don't remember the exact year, but anyway, it's been considered the biggest hip hop festival in Europe for many years. So it's like over 20,000 people go there from around Europe and also from America, but it's mostly like a European thing.
Mm-hmm.
And some huge artists go there. Like the year that I went, Guru was there, who passed away.
Gangstar.
Yeah.
And, did you meet him?
I didn't actually meet him face to face, but he was performing on the main stage.
You saw him performing.
Yeah.
How was he?
Amazing. Non-Fiction were there, which is a very huge underground band at the time.
Is it a European band?
Yeah, actually, no. I think they're American. They're American.
Okay.
So they brought them from America, and they brought lots of artists, and there was all the top artists from around Europe as well. But yeah, that just watching that festival, I cannot say that the artists were like, they inspired me, and the show was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But actually what really stuck to me was the crowd. And that's what I was like, wow.
The love.
Like after this, I was like, wow, because I didn't experience anything like that. Because I was used to like Cyprus, performing in the clubs, maybe a few festivals here and there, a few things here and there. And it was a completely different vibe, You go there, you see the passion of the people, the whole crowd, the whole festival vibes, people drinking, people blazing, the whole atmosphere was smelling. I don't want to promote that, but just the vibe and people having a really good time and like dancing and like vibing with the artists. After that, I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be performing. So for me, that was. It wasn't actually the artist that blew me away. It was just the vibe of the whole festival, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to be doing.
I'm so jealous of you.
And I went and performed.
I wish I've seen Guru live.
They put me to perform at the same time, close to the same time as they had different stages. They had the main stage with the big artists, the huge artists, the celebrities. Obviously, they didn't put me on the main stage. With my first time at the Hip Hop Camp. I was in one of the smaller stages, and they put me to perform at a similar time as to freaking the biggest artist, on the main stage. So everyone was there. So I was like, shit, it's time for me to perform, And I go there, and there was only a few people. So I'm like, I told the organizer, I'm like, can I delay it a bit? And the guys from the main stage are gonna finish soon, and hopefully they'll start coming towards this side of the festival. And hopefully I'll attract some people. So I delayed it by about 15 minutes. And it's a great thing that I did that, because as soon as I started performing, there was like 10 people, but then you see the whole crowd like slowly starting to come this way. And by the time I was like actually starting to perform, I had the whole
crowd.
thing. I had the whole crowd, and all of them vibing and having such a good time. And it was amazing. It was really amazing. And then I went to, since we're on this subject and like about this kind of like vibe and performing, all my favorite performances, I have to say, was not all of them, but most of them were abroad. Like when I performed at the hip hop at the Popkomm festival in Germany, in Berlin. Again, the crowd, amazing. I met like some of the best beatboxers in the world, and they were performing right before me. And right after me, it was the biggest group in Australia, Hilltop Hoods, performing, and I met them and I was chilling with them backstage. And they were like selling out arenas in the UK back then, like selling out the whole arena in the UK. And it was so amazing to meet these kind of people and to kind of blend with them. So yeah.
So your experiences with the festivals and
were the best.
Watching people perform live gave you inspiration and
meeting
everything.
People, inspiring. That was a big part of the inspiration, kind of what pushed me to do more and more and more.
Gotcha. All right. And what do you believe about the old school versus the new school? There is this conversation in a lot of us that were into hip hop, R&B and hip hop. We always have this conversation about old school versus the new school.
Yeah.
what's your belief when it comes to that?
I mean, old school for me, especially if we're going to talk about hip hop and R&B, I want to include R&B here, because if you listen to the old school hip hop and the old school R&B, it's amazing. I mean, they used to spend like weeks, albums to make like one song, or to make a, you know, like an album or whatever. You know, they would bring in, like you said earlier, they would bring in the guys to play the actual instruments and to actually record it. And if you listen to the vocalists and how much went into the vocals of the R&B and even in the hip hop, the productions, so much work went into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. Now you listen to music and, you know, you can make that beat. It's like a loop that you got, like, you even use AI nowadays. Like Timbaland is coming out, he came out with an AI artist, you know? He has a new AI artist. It's a lot of controversy online. I've been following on Instagram. So
Tell me about it. Tell me about that story.
I'll tell you, but what I want to say is everything is done so fast now, and you use like loops and, you know, samples, and it's like redone, and you can make a song in basically like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And before, so much work went into it, and I think you can hear the difference, you know?
I agree.
I think you can really hear the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's why I've also lost motivation over the years, and I think it's a bit sad. Sometimes you still find some good music, some good quality music out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some good artists out there.
Agreed.
But definitely old school, that's the difference between the two. I think it's become very lazy now.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think they're more concerned about quantity over quality, and it should have been the other way. It's exactly what you said.
But you know what?
Instead of being focused on making quality and taking your time, perfecting the beat, perfecting your writing skills, your lyrics and everything. Now they just they don't care. They just want to make songs that they will sell and make money. I think
there's tools out there now to make it faster. Which, okay, I understand, that's good. At least we have the tools and we can make music faster. That's good. And you can see that also with the videos and with online, and how the new generation has been trained to want things all the time and on demand, and with the shorts and everything. They don't want to sit down and watch or listen to like long songs of like how it used to be, the songs like 3.5 minutes, 4-minute songs. Now the songs, you'll find songs which are like 2 minutes long. If you look at the videos, people don't want to watch 3-4 minute videos anymore. They want to watch shorts. They want to watch 30 seconds. Or like if you look at TikTok and Instagram and YouTube or whatever, everything is like 30 seconds. Sure. Scrolling. I see that with my own family, you know? They just want to scroll through. So we've been trained like that as well. And it is what it is, you know? We have to adapt.
So in a few words, there is no love into it anymore.
Listen, there can still be love. There can still be love. It's just how the world has evolved, you know? And we just have to accept it. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do. You either adapt or you get left behind, you know?
So I'm guessing the era of hip hop that you prefer, it was like the old school.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, the music that was coming out then, it was unbelievable. I mean, you know about it, and we lived it differently. Now it's those people that we used to listen to, they know that anyway, they're all businessmen now, you know? They invested their money in other things and other businesses. Because
they evolved and they changed, let's say.
But yeah, there are some good artists nowadays. I mean, if we're going to talk about a few artists, like Joyner Lucas, I really like him, and I've discovered him.
Who's that?
Joyner Lucas. He's I mean, he's quite huge actually. He's a underground artist in I wouldn't say underground. I mean, he's quite well known now in the States.
Did he come out with an album, single?
He has a lot of albums actually now, and he's got a song with Will Smith, and he has a quite close relationship with Will Smith, or at least he has. Check him out on YouTube. He's got some really cool stuff.
Thank you for that.
Let's leave it at that and move on to the next.
Okay, and you know, hip hop, it's a huge thing. Everybody thinks hip hop is just music. It's a whole culture. It's you know how hip hop it is with its elements and so on. And hip hop, it's got too many subcultures. let's say you have gangster rap, you have trap music, you have all these subcultures. And my question is, which one is your favorite and why do you love it so much?
I went through different phases, you know. I went through different phases. Like growing up for many years, and at the beginning of my career, I was really into the underground stuff, like the really underground and hardcore stuff, you know, like as hardcore as it gets when we talk about hip hop. And even the stuff that I was doing, it was considered very underground. And if you hear some of the first things I was doing, I was like cursing. I was like cursing the government, and I was, you know, lots of stuff. And even the battle rap I used to do. I mean, I used to listen to, and then as I progressed with my career, I used to, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I used to do the jump off in the UK for a few years. I used to go and battle there. And some big artists came out of that battle as well, like in the UK, like Professor Green. He was battling rap at the same time I was in the UK. Actually, I didn't battle with him, but he was at the same nights that I used to go. So I used to battle rap with a lot of people. But anyway, going back to that, we can go into more detail later with the battle rap. But I went through different phases. So I used to like the battle stuff. I used to like the underground stuff, and you can call it some gangster rap or whatever. And I guess that's because maybe that's what I would relate to the most. That's why, because of the lyrics. Yeah, and later on, I would listen to a bit more commercial stuff, but again, I would never sit down on my, at home and listen to the commercial stuff, It would just be if I would do something more commercial, like a club track, like as part of my music, then of course, you need to have some inspiration, you need to have some motivation, and you're going out to the clubs. We grew up in the club scene, we grew up in going to clubs, so of course you're gonna hear everything, and of course you're gonna end up getting some motivation, or not motivation, some inspiration from all the scenes. Mm-hmm. But for me, the true love was more like in the lyrical music, some of the artists that I mentioned before, for example.
So you're more focused into the lyrical side of
the lyrical side of things, and even productions. I always paid a lot of attention to the productions, to be honest. And I think a lot of people that they ended up liking my music. They will always say to me, like, you know what I really like about you. You always have amazing productions, and that's because I'm super picky as to who I would work with and production wise. I think it makes a huge difference, It
has to feel right to be able to flow.
I would go through 100. I would go through 100 beats, and then I would choose the one, and then I would go with that one, and then I would go through another 100 beats, and I would stick with one. So
I want to get more deep into that. Talk to me about your work. Tell us about your work. How did you start? When did you start writing your songs?
Yeah.
When did you start releasing songs, or if you released albums and so on? Tell us a little bit more about that. Get more deep into that.
Yeah. So I started from very early, as I told you. So at the beginning, it was just like, okay, I really like this, and I'm gonna try and do it. I couldn't flow right, but I was rhyming, and I liked the lyrical part of it, but I couldn't really flow. And I was going to the open mics in Cyprus back then that Ice and a lot of other people, FTW and all these guys were doing, and I was blending in with the local scenes, just trying to get my name out and having fun. And probably you were there as well. I mean, I'm sure I saw you out many times. We used to come to Limassol to perform. Whatever we could do, we would just try to get involved, So at that stage, it was just like, okay, we're having fun. We're trying to get the scene out. There's not much of a scene because nobody really knew about hip hop back then. So it was just having fun, and just having fun pretty much. And then I guess, going through certain experiences in life and blah, 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 I started, I wouldn't say taking more serious. I think it started to become more serious when I did my first, at least as a career, when I did my first commercial track. When I went to the UK actually, and that's when I started taking things more serious. So because the first year I went into the UK, and I went through some experiences there, some things kind of switched. And then I came back to Cyprus, and I went to a new studio. It was X Method at the time. And I started recording in his studio. And actually, the guy had a really good setup, you know. And I could really just, I would go there. I would go with the beats ready. I would give him the beats. He would load it up in the studio, and I would just start rapping. I was like bombing down tracks. And I was working with a lot of people at the time. You know, throughout all these years at the time, I was hungry. You know, I was super hungry, and I was networking online. You know, with everybody. I was looking for artists to work with in the UK, in the US. I was always networking.
He was hungry.
I was hungry in Greece, everywhere. So I was looking for artists, but I was also looking for producers. I ended up working with producers who ended up becoming celebrities later, like a few years later. So for example, lots of people, but like two producers that became like huge celebrities. One of them is called Kane. And he ended up a few years after, I got like 3 beats from him. And a few years later, he became the official producer of Lil Wayne and all those guys, whatever they were called, like the Young Money guys.
Young Money.
He was the producer. If you check out some of the hits, he produced all of them, you know?
Yeah.
And he's always like Kane on the beat, you know? And like I was working with him before he became famous. Just because I was online and looking for producers.
Wow.
Another one was Apex. He ended up producing 50 Cent, I Got Money. Like 1 year before that, I had a couple of beats from him, you know? And then suddenly he became famous and he got signed by Sony. Anyway, so this was all happening, you know, at different times. So I was hungry. I was trying to go to festivals around the world, like I mentioned. Like I went to Germany, I went to Czech Republic, I went to Sweden. I was going around everywhere by myself, you know? Just by myself, everything. Even the networking aspect of things, I was doing everything on my own. Like no manager, no nothing. So I was doing the shows here, I was going abroad, I was working with people here, I was working with people everywhere. And so there was many things happening in parallel. And I got my name out, you know, I became quite popular here in Cyprus. And people were double booking me for like, you know, the clubs and everywhere here. So I had a good thing going on. But then I went to the UK and I was writing. I locked myself in a room for 1 year, I think. I went with my boy Fingers. We were sharing a flat the first year. Attaboy, he was also a local DJ, and we were renting a flat. I mean, you can ask him. I was locked up in a room, just chilling, like vibing, and I was just writing, you know. And
was that the first time that you actually put in the work? You went there for a year, like you said.
I put the real work there.
You went there specifically for that reason, and
I went there to study. I went there to study. I went there for college. So I was doing college on the side, but I was really focused on my music, and I was writing. And I came back to Cyprus, and I dropped the song Bounce, which I recorded at X Method Studio. And we added a bit of a twist to it with Kiri. He had like some reggae kind of vibes, and I ended up getting that song. And DJ Net, who passed away during that year,
I remember.
He was the first DJ to support me, and I guess to support maybe, I won't say any hip hop artist in Cyprus, but I was definitely one of the first to play on the mainstream radio, because he was local. He was playing at Mix FM, which was the biggest radio at the time, right? The biggest station. So he started playing my music on Mix FM. I was like, yes, I'm on the commercial radio, finally, you know, some recognition, you know, in Cyprus, because you know how hard it is to...
Very, very hard.
The stations, you know, I felt it was very hard, you know, but that was the first thing. And then I put that song, I started entering it in competitions internationally, and I managed winning like a few competitions, and I got recognition. I started sending it to A&Rs, like the big record labels, like Sony and blah, blah, blah. And while I was in, I will never forget this moment. It was like, this moment for me, it was like, you know.
Did you ever had the chance to work with any of these huge companies like Sony?
This is what happened. I was in Germany. I was performing at the Popkomm festival. And, you know, at the time, one of my goals was to get signed by a major label, you know. At the time, it was different vibes, different times. And it was a big thing, you know, like to get signed by a label.
And very, very difficult.
Very difficult also. And I checked my email while I was at the hotel performing in Germany, and I had an email from the A&R at Sony, contacted me directly. I was like, what? You know, it was like a life-changing moment for me, because I was like, no, this can't be happening, you know? And we started talking, and he was, he's like...
Before you get to the talking,
Yeah.
how did you feel? How did you feel
I
when you saw that email?
I was just like, I don't know, butterflies or how you want to call it. I was just in panic mode, or I don't know, it was surreal.
Mhm.
Even now thinking about it at the time, it was crazy for me, you know?
Go on.
So we started speaking, and you know, he told me, so what are you doing? He wanted to know more about me. I mean, he heard about me, but he wanted to know more, like, what are you doing at the moment? And I told him, listen, I'm in Germany now, I'm based in Cyprus. But it never went away, it never happened with him, because of the fact that I was always based in Cyprus. Even though I went to the UK, my base was always Cyprus. And I never took that step to completely move away from Cyprus and to move to the UK or to the US. I had the opportunities. Even in the US, I had a couple of smaller labels offer me to go there and to sign me. But I didn't want to make that move, because I was very comfortable in Cyprus. I used it as my base. And I thought, listen, I don't want to leave Cyprus. I want to keep it as my base, but I'm going to keep on doing my own thing and keep on collaborating with big artists around the world and try to get my name out like that until something like huge happens eventually. And that's what I did.
Do you regret doing that? Not making that step? Pulling the trigger and making that step and go to the States or the UK?
To be honest, not really, because after that is when things really started to happen for me. And I managed to do many things that I was I set some goals, you know. I set some goals, I want to get played on BBC One Extra. This will be my dream. And I want to work with specific artists, huge artists. And I started ticking off those goals one by one. You know, I wanted to work with Sway in the UK, which was signed under Akon's label at the time, and I did it. I wanted to work with Casely. I ended up working on a few songs with him. I wanted to work with Wiley. He used to come to my studio in Cyprus. We used to record. I set myself some goals, and once I started hitting those goals, I felt the accomplishment. It's like every time I was hitting that goal, there's accomplishment. Of course, my goal was never to become super famous or anything like that. I wanted to get the recognition.
Yeah. The appreciation, I believe.
That's what I wanted.
The appreciation.
I wanted to get my music out there and for people to hear my music, obviously.
Be appreciated.
But I didn't want it was never my goal to become a celebrity or anything like that, you know? So for me, I was happy with that. Okay. I was content, let's say.
All right, good. What about your work? Tell us about your work. I mean, how many albums you got out there? How many singles you got there? And I also want to ask you which work you're actually really, really proud of the work you put into.
So, albums, compilations. You know, we released a few compilations, even in Cyprus. I used to work with John Woo quite a lot, so we released one compilation called the 357 with him and Mario Mental. And then we released another one called The Rise of Cyprus Hip Hop, which was released under All Records in Cyprus. It was officially released by them. It was the only record label, kind of, if you want to call it, or distribution here in Cyprus. So they combined different songs from different artists in Cyprus. So that was some compilations. I also have some European ones called the it's a European one. So they collected some really good artists from around Europe, and they made compilations. So that was actually really good because I was featured on that one.
Oh, that's nice.
It's called the Europavox, something like that. I don't know how to say it, but it's a compilation of every year they release a compilation of the best artists from Europe. So I was proud to be part of that as well. And then, of course, I had my solo ones, and I have around three solo albums, if you want to call it albums/mixtapes. I'm proud of all of them. I've released one which I call the Best of Lyrical Eye. I have around 20 tracks on that, and it has work from the first mixtape and the second mixtape. The second mixtape I'm super proud of. The one that I released, it's me and a guy called Chris Lee that I worked with a lot over my career. He's in Virginia in the US. So we released the whole mixtape together because we used to work so much, you know. I used to drop him a mixtape. I used to drop him a beat. I'm like, dude, I want you to jump on this. Next day, yo, bro, I want you to jump on this. I want you to jump, because he was so good. The guy could sing amazingly, like his vocals were amazing, but he could also rap. So sometimes he would jump on the hook, sometimes he would rap. Anything that he did, he was amazing. So we ended up doing a whole mixtape together. And at the same time, I was also like working with other artists of mine. He was also like introducing me to some of his artists in the US. So I think that's my best work. It's called CY to VA. I think I dropped you
I'm pretty sure I heard it before.
I dropped you the mixtape. It's a really good one.
Thank you very much for that.
Because it's got a lot of, I think there's some good individual tracks on there. Like there's one called Goodbye. There's another one called Heartbeat. There's a lot of love into many of those tracks. You know, a lot of passion.
Which one is your favorite single that you put out there?
It's hard, man.
Your favorite. You're like the song that you're most proud of.
Again, it's hard. I'll have to give you like a top 3 probably.
Go ahead.
Bounce, which was pretty life changing for me.
Was that the first one, I believe?
The first like commercial
Success.
one, semi commercial. Because you still have some ruggedness on this. You still have some raw. Actually, the chorus was not commercial at all, but then we ended up switching it last minute and adding that reggae feel to it, which made it a bit more commercial.
Radio friendly.
Yeah, radio friendly. So the Bounce was number 1. The second one is called It's Official, which is my most successful one. That one I'm super proud of because I managed to get like 3 artists on there, which were like huge at the time.
Like Sway, I think,
Sway,
and Casely?
Casely, which were like 2 dream collaborations. Sway was number 1 in the UK at the time for hip hop, signed to Akon's label. So to get him on the track
was a huge thing.
And I had to put a lot of efforts, like I was working left and right, dropping emails, trying to get featurings. I was working with a label in the UK at the time, DJ Funksy. So we actually agreed to release that song under his label in the UK, so we released it under his label. He was a big DJ in the UK. Also, he was DJing at LGR, which is the London Greek radio in the UK. So he was also promoting it on that radio constantly. He had his connections, so he managed to push that song also to like BBC in the UK and many other things. So that I'm really proud of, and I mixed that whole track by myself at home. I got the vocals, I got all the everything. I spent around 3 months mixing that track because I was never satisfied with the end result, and getting the vocals from everybody and like making it, I wanted it to be perfect. So with It's Official, I managed to get those artists together, and in the end, the result was what I was looking for. And managed to get the radio play that I was looking for, and to had to do a lot of promotion as well, to get it out there, because you can do a track, but at the end of the day, you need to push it out there, for people to hear it. So I was pushing it locally to all the DJs. I was giving it to everybody, and then obviously internationally as well. And then by itself, it found its way. So I was very happy with that. It's something that I was super happy with the end result. And then the third song would be, that's a tough one to choose a third one.
When you got so many, it's hard, yeah.
I mean, it's different collaborations that I did with Chris Lee. I think Heartbeat, I really like. It's called Heartbeat.
Heartbeat.
Yeah.
Was it in that compilation?
Yeah, it's in the compilation. It's nice because it's got that vibe,
what kind of vibe it has?
Deep.
What are you talking about?
Heartbeat. I can feel my heartbeat. I can take your breath away. We're talking about kind of an experience that you went through. So I'm talking about an experience. And there's 3 people on that track, so everyone is kind of saying about that experience. You have to hear it. You have to hear it. You can find it on YouTube for now.
No, I got the album.
Yeah, you got the album for now. You got the album for now.
Yeah.
If you don't have the album, you can find it on YouTube. I didn't mention Can't Pull Me Down. I would put Can't Pull Me Down on top of Heartbeat. So Can't Pull Me Down is also like that song, that video and the song. Yeah, super proud of that one.
So you have a video clip about that song.
Yeah, my friend with the same name as you made it, George Antonopoulos.
Okay.
Yeah, he put his creativity on that video. Wow, he did an amazing job. And as a song, that was, it's like Can't Pull Me Down. Again, very deep meaning, and it's pretty much like the intro is like a rocky speech, and then it goes into the song.
Yeah, I know this song.
Yeah,
I know this song.
I think I played it for you last time.
Yeah.
So that definitely, I would put that in my top 3.
The Rocky intro, it's unbelievable. I think it was the addition to that, the intro with the Rocky scene. It was spot on.
Yeah, that's my top 3, I would say.
What about your experiences, going to all these countries, performing in all these festivals? What are your experience, and also what accomplishments that you're really proud of that you can tell us about?
I mean, there's many memories that I have. Some that stand out is like Flow Rider in Cyprus. Actually, that was a big one because
when was that?
I don't even remember.
Do you know? Last Christmas I went out and I saw him.
Really?
At the bar. Yeah, I went one night out in Rumors, and he was right there on the couch, right next to the DJ box.
Wow.
He was chilling there. I don't know. He was just there having a good time. He came out. I don't know if he came out for a gig or he came just for on a holiday.
Are you sure it was him?
Yeah, it was him.
Damn.
Last Christmas.
Damn.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Maybe he came for a gig. So that was a proud moment, because obviously he was, at the time, he was like probably like number 1 or one of the top artists in the US, like multi-platinum. And I'm going to go and open the concert. I was super stressed. So we did some preparation for that. But everything fell in place, with that. I loved the way we opened for the concert. Everything was beautiful. So super proud of that. What else?
What about working with Lil Jon?
Little John was good. Little John was fun.
Yeah.
Little John was fun. I wouldn't add it in my top highlights.
Yeah.
We did the Cyprus rally here in Cyprus at Spyros Kyprianou in Limassol, which was big. It was televised to many millions of people online and on the TV stations.
What was that?
10 years ago. Sagis Ruvas also performed right after us, so we were kind of opening for Sagis Ruvas and Cyprus Rally. So there was like 8,000 people in the stadium, and it was, like I said, it was televised everywhere, so that was pretty cool. And the BBC getting play there, and we also managed to get Ronnie Harrell, one of the big DJs who was playing a BBC One Extra in the UK, he did like a poll during the time, and he said like, I want everybody to choose their favorite song, at the time, blah blah blah, and they ended up choosing It's Official, so it got voted as like the most popular song at the time while they were playing the session. So yeah, I pre-recorded that whole thing and I put it online. I was like, wow, this is a moment I will always remember. So yeah, those are definitely like top 3 moments, I would say.
That you're really proud of.
Yeah, like super proud
I think of It's Official, it got a lot of radio play.
Yeah, It's Official got a lot of radio play.
That's nice. And what about accomplishments? What do you feel the most proud of?
I mean, again, it's like it's a bit of this. It's like some of the festivals that I performed at, working with specific artists. I'm super proud of managing to work with like Sway and Wiley and Casely and even some maybe not so known artists, just have the possibility to work with them. I've worked with a few people in Greece. Haramanis used to be, I think he still is, we're based here in Cyprus, from Zontani Nekri, so I worked with him quite a lot, and even for his mixtapes. A lot of people from Greece actually reached out to me and they wanted me to rap on their mixtape or album, like Ominous and all these guys, many people. So I've collaborated with quite a few people. Which was nice, because at the end of the day they're rapping in Greek and I'm rapping it. For them to want me to have someone from Cyprus to rap in English, even though I'm not even rapping in Greek, that was pretty cool. Like,
That's recognition.
It's
That's
a
appreciation.
recognition. It's appreciation.
Yeah.
Like some guy out of Cyprus is doing his thing, and and also with going through and some of those guys. It's a combination of things. It was like a step by step, like the festivals and going through the whole process was all an accomplishment at the end of the day.
I think you're one of the few artists coming from Cyprus that they put their time and heart into it and kept going and going and going.
Yeah.
And after all these years, it's been like, 20 years plus that you've been doing this, and you're still loving it, still want to do things, and you're working hard, even though you got your work, you got your family and so on, but you're still trying your best.
It's funny you mentioned that, throughout this whole thing, like throughout, like, let's say my whole career on the music side, I was at the same time, I never stopped my other career, my business career. So basically, I was always working, I was doing music, and I was pretty much doing it, you can say, on a professional level in music, but I also had a job at the same time, so I'm able to like sustain myself, to be able to have an income, to be able to survive, to live. And when I was younger, I was working all kinds of like jobs in relation, sometimes IT related or whatever, because I was doing like IT, mostly IT stuff. But anything I was making from my work, I was trying to put back into the music.
So basically, you were investing in yourself.
I was investing in myself, like, and at some point, I even went. I was quite young, but just so you understand how devoted I was, I went and got a loan from the bank. But nothing crazy. I think it was like 7,000. Back then, 7,000 liras, just to build my own little studio at home. And that's what I did. I got sick of going around to all the studios and getting ripped off. So I'm like, listen, I'm gonna get a loan, and I'm gonna build my own little studio. I built my own little studio.
So you can do your own
thing. Paid
thing.
it off by myself, and that's it. I started doing my thing.
Good. And also, I wanted to ask you, what do you believe is the future of hip hop? Starting out hip hop when it first came out, after some time, everybody were like thinking or saying, okay, it's hip hop, it's this and that, it's gonna go away, but ended up staying here. And throughout hip hop's evolution throughout the years, I want to know your opinion, or what do you believe will be the future of hip hop?
Yeah, it's a tough question. I mean, it's still here, but it's changed a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there is still some essence of it. There is still some of the old stuff which remain the same. Some of it is unchanged, but you have other categories as well. You have like trap, if you want to put it, or like
mumble rap, and all these different
I don't even know what they're called. I don't follow so much. But like I said, what we were talking about before, like Timbaland, who is considered one of the biggest producers to ever exist, let's say, for hip hop, and like he went out a few months ago and he said, I'm gonna release the first AI artist, and he was pushing this on Instagram, and a lot of people like a lot of people started attacking him on Instagram. They're like, what are you doing? There's so many artists out there, so many independent artists who have so much talent. Why don't you give them a chance instead of like doing an AI, an AI artist, So, we might end up seeing many more AI artists and much more AI music. And I think eventually it's going to happen for sure, because already there is a lot of stuff which is happening by AI. And even when it comes to like vocals, I know people, sometimes they use AI to do the vocals. So it will replace some part of music for sure. I hope it will not replace all music eventually, I really hope so.
Same.
But it's hard to say, to be honest. As things stand, it is what it is, you can still find some good music. There's still some really good artists out there. But it's hard to say what the future will bring. Just looking at how AI is developing, though, with everything else, it's a bit scary.
Gotcha. Okay, Lyrical Eye, before we wrap things up, is there anything you would like to add before I let you go?
Not really. Just to let you know that I am finally trying to push myself to, like throughout the last few years, I haven't really released too much material. I was always like maybe release a story here and there, doing some freestyling or something on YouTube or TikTok, Instagram. But I haven't released too much material, so I'm trying to find the motivation now. I've been.
Is there anything in works when it comes to singles, songs, or album?
I'm trying to think if I will do it like single wise or if I'll sit and do a compilation. But I think it will probably be like maybe I'll release like three singles, and those singles will probably be accompanied with a video. So I want to do like 3 videos, maybe 3 singles, 3 videos.
Any artists that you're working with?
I haven't thought about it so far. I'm doing this independently. One artist that I will probably work with is John Woo in Cyprus that I have worked with a lot in the past, and there was one beat that I really think it matches his style. So I'll probably be working with John on that. The rest I'm not sure. I'll take it as it goes.
You'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. At the moment it's writing, and you never know. It might end up into an album.
Production-wise.
Production-wise, different producers, pretty much based around, mostly in the US and the UK, some of my old contacts. Yeah.
Do you have the beats?
Yeah, I have most of the beats ready, to be honest, and even the lyrics. So now it's just a matter of like going to the studio, bombing them down, and then starting with the music videos and stuff, which I will probably need your help with.
With anything we can help with, of course we will help you. All right, Lyrical Eye, thank you very much. I really appreciate you for coming over.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
It's been good to go through the memories and the old world now.
It's nice to, this is one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast and bring everybody here and to share our knowledge and our experiences when it comes to hip hop, because there's some people that they don't really know what's going on with hip hop. It's not appreciated as much as it should be. Even in the States now, it's not appreciated as it used to be. It's got too much backlash.
True.
But like everything in life, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
So even in hip hop, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you do your research and depending on what you're into and what you want to listen to, if you do your research and you can find the right music for you. You don't like me personally. I don't think it's. I don't feel the need to listen to every new artist that comes. I don't feel the need to listen to all the music that they put out there.
Yeah.
I will check them out. I will try to hear them out, see what they're about, what they're talking about. If it's got substance, I will listen to it. If it's got no substance, then it's not for me.
Exactly.
As we get older, as you understand, everything changes. You learn, you
Selective.
grow, you get wiser, you get more selective. Correct.
With everything.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much once again, Lyrical Eye. I really appreciate you for coming, and I want to wish you all the best in your personal and, of course, your business career as well.
Likewise,
thank you very much.
Thank you, and all the best with all the podcasts and with everything that you guys are doing here, pretty much. It's I think it's really good for the artists and for the community and for everything, to be honest. So great initiative, keep it up, and good luck with everything.
And we're gonna work together in the future as well. We're trying to work together when it comes to making a series, maybe in the future. We'll see how it goes.
Amazing.
And how much love we're gonna get from everyone, and we take it from there.
Cool.
We're just doing something that we love and we care about and we want to put out there, and then the rest, we'll see how it goes. We'll go with the flow.
Makes sense.
All right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us. And also put your comments down below. Help us get better. And also, who would you like to see on our next episodes? Thank you very much for watching us. Peace.